Welcome. So today we're going to talk about I Ain't Gonna Paint No More. It's by Karen Beaumont and illustrated by David Catro, the team that brought You I Like Myself, which is a book I talked about earlier and which I really love to teach. And I love this book as well. I've teamed up with art teachers on it, teamed up with OTs to do body awareness work, and a lot of classrooms I've been in with it have done some kind of like sight word work with it, and I'll explore all those avenues as we go on. So, with that said, let's jump right in. I keep a pretty simple little beat. This book has a song with it that, as a TA, every classroom I was in had the same song. I don't know if it's actually universal, if it's something Beaumont intended, but I really like it. I think it has this nice, mischievous little bounciness to it, so it's the song I use. And it goes like this. One day my mama caught me painting pictures on the floor and the ceiling and the walls and the curtains and the door, and I heard my mama holler like I never did before. Yeah, ain't gonna paint no more. I ain't gonna paint no more, no more. I ain't gonna paint no more. That's what I say, but there ain't no way that I ain't gonna paint no more. So I take some red and I paint my head. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. So pausing here, I want to talk about kind of the body awareness route you can take. What I love especially about this book is that it gradually gets more and more colorful. And especially at this opening, we see the black and white, though there's some grays and purples in the lining that I can see up close, but it's probably difficult for y'all to see. But this first part, so I take some red and I paint my, and Beaumont leaves us with an ellipsis, which you can kind of hold out as you're singing or take a pause. Either way, make it a little dramatic. Sometimes I'll point to my head, or as we go on, point or gesture to the different body parts that are about to be painted. And that kind of cues in the audience or the person you're reading with to what's about to happen. You can also pause and do something like, so I take some red and I paint my... Oh, what do you think he's gonna do? What part of his body is gonna get painted? This example is probably a little early. It would be better to do this a little later once the routine of the book is set in. But I wanted to stop here because I love this page especially. What I love about it is that those blacks and kind of off gray, the black and off gray theme is interrupted by this red. And this is such a clear, wonderful visual of that head, of the body part. So in working with readers or learners who might have difficulty with that body awareness, this visual in particular is, I think, a great one. The rest of the character's body is still left uncolored, and now we have this splotch of red right over the part of the body we're discussing. So let's continue. What the heck gonna paint my... Like I said, you can kind of tap, or you can do what you want. Neck. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. Still, I just can't rest not to paint my chest. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. Guess there ain't no harm if I paint my arm. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. I ain't gonna paint no more, no more. I ain't gonna paint no more. So here, unlike the head page I was talking about, we see it's growing more complex. We get a sense for that in this illustration where there's a mix of colors and quite literally a spiral, right? The mix happening. Then here on the character's arm, we have all sorts of colors. We have an illustration of ants crawling. But what's so wonderful and what makes Beaumont really a master is though the illustration is growing more and more complex, Beaumont brings it back to that beginning rhythm, that beginning kind of simple call and response, for lack of a better term, with I ain't gonna paint no more, no more, gonna paint no more. So as the pictures themselves are growing more stimulating and more exciting, we're brought back as readers to that simple, grounding beginning. And working with our teachers on this project, I love doing kind of color mixing, right? You can bring in just one primary color at the start. Then the second time you teach this book, you bring in a second primary color, and when they mix, you explore that. Then the third time, you bring in 3 primaries, and maybe some of them mix really well. Eventually, you might just get some gray. And when you bring in that 4th primary, it can get pretty messy, but it's still a great color experiment for artists and poets and students of all sorts who are exploring that sort of artistic avenue. So let's keep going. But I just can't stand not to paint my hand. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. I think hand painting is great. Especially you can put a glove on so the hands themselves don't get dirty. But if you feel comfortable doing it, actually painting on the hand is like great sensory input with a brush or just with like the coolness and the texture of the paint. I really encourage that. Then I see some black, so I paint my back. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. Like an Easter egg, gonna paint my leg. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. So thinking about the sight word avenue, pages like this leg page, are wonderful for that. And really, all the body part images are offset, right? We get the one exclamation point word, the one word with an exclamation point. And sometimes we get a little more text. We get the dog with the back here, the hand, we have that line. But for the most part, we have a bare page with the word itself and with the body part that's been painted. And you can play on this, whether just making a photocopy of the page, whether having students make their own rendition of the page. There are a lot of opportunities, but in teaching these pretty basic body sight words, these about me kind of self-identifying sight words, I think this is a wonderful text to really open that conversation. So let's finish it up. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. Still I ain't complete till I paint my feet. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. Feel free to play with the language a little bit, right? I like hitting those hard E's and feet and being pretty playful with it. But I'm thinking about wordplay, sight words, the importance of that in emerging and learning readers. Those kind of consonant sounds, those vowel sounds, like the double E in feet, are important to hit and important to sort of model. So while it seems a little silly to be like feet as if you're an opera singer, it is really important for a lot of learners and a lot of students to hear. And with the tempo of the song, I'm reading it at a pretty standard pace just to sort of show you and demonstrate. Feel free to speed it up. Feel free to get kind of quiet as if you're being mischievous too. Feel free to get a little faster as it goes and really carry that energy. Do with it what you will and do with it what you need to be successful. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. I ain't gonna paint no more, no more. I ain't gonna paint no more. But I'm such a not gonna paint my what? And this is clearly a pretty dramatic moment, right? The mom returns. The dog and the boy, presumably boy, are both nude and the house is covered in paint. It's quite the debacle. So feel free to be very dramatic with that. What? And if you're feeling like singing and being operatic, you could hold it out. What? Have some fun. Y'all don't paint 'cause there ain't no paint, so I ain't gonna paint no more. And hopefully when you have some fun, your class, your house doesn't end up looking like this. So thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed hearing about I Ain't Gonna Paint No More. Feel free to subscribe to see more videos like this, and read-alouds, and children's poetry, and all sorts of good stuff. And if you'd rather just hear this read aloud without me interrupting to make comments or talk about lessons, click on the video above. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time.